generally society has been treating some of us, people get triggered because then it's a matter of, are you asking because you honestly want to know, or you're asking because you have motives?
There's a huge difference between gender identity and sexuality. So now when we're getting confused, we're actually getting confused on the sexuality part of it.
Yeah. One of the things that really stood out was how diverse we are in the community. And I think this has brought also so much confusion, not to us as the community on our own, but to the entire society as well. Where we've heard that things like, are the letters ever going to end? All the queer people will have that kind of internalized homophobia towards the younger ones.
It seems as if also we are a community that tends to want to explain ourselves a lot.
100%.
We are faced with so many questions. Why this? Why that? Why this? Why that? Why can't we just live?
You'll see a gay person who's masculine and you're like, are you?
Thank you. And you're like,
Right?
where was I? And I think that's where it all stems from, not being able to express the way our youth are currently expressing.
Hello, everyone. The queers, the ladies, the gents, welcome to another episode of The Real Queer Talk with myself, Tholo, the inimitable one, Motaung. And as I have promised you that every last week of the month, we are not going to be having different guests, but we're going to have similar guests. And here they are. They're not just guests, but now there are going to be those faces that you see at least once every month. So they'll be joining me every month. And again, I don't think I should be welcoming them because they're home already.
You should welcome us. It's a different month.
It's a different
day.
month. Okay. So all the time should be welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Looking gorgeous as always. On my far right, it is Tshediso Tsheola-Brown. And on my left here, just next to me, it is Mario Visagie, also known as Mario V. Guys, it is another Saturday when we are cooking to have conversations that are meaningful.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited about today because I think we're getting out to actually talk about what is happening out there in real life. But before we get there, if you could share with me, what is that one thing this week that really caught your mind and it got you thinking a bit?
Okay, I'll start because
She's still processing it, right?
still processing it.
Yeah.
For me, it has been a week of gratitude more than anything. I've been, taking back where I come from as a person.
Yeah.
I am thankful to God. He has brought me thus far. In my statuses on my social media platforms, I was actually sharing a whole lot of things that are aligned with being grateful, gratitude, and understanding the reason for your season. We are meant to understand why we're in that season. What is it that we are supposed to be learning? What is it that we're supposed to be taking out of that? And I believe every season that we are in, whether it be summer, autumn, or even winter, there is a portion where we need to understand we're being shaped and molded for that season, so that when come the next season, you are no longer the same. You can't be winter and the same summertime. There must be a transformation.
You actually approach certain things. So for me, transforming was actually changing the way I think. So transforming my mind. That was actually my reflection for the week, and just showing up for myself, showing up for my friends, and just being there and being present. And also just being there for people that came into my space and just allowing them to embrace what I have to offer. Yeah, that's what it was for me, actually.
Incredible. These are powerful things, and I appreciate hearing them for the fact that we get to be in different spaces at different times, and taking note of what is happening really help us to become better people,
100%.
right? And I love what you're saying, that you had to stop, because if we don't stop, we won't be able to
We are
even
so
notice
busy.
what the reason why we are in the season that we are in,
100%.
which is also so powerful, because I posted the status this morning, and it is about that as an individual, I am not in competition with anyone but myself, because
100%.
the plan is really to get the better version of me all the time. So if I say I won, it's because now I have become a better person in different aspects of life, right? And that also aligns with what you're saying, to say in whatever season that you're in, when you get out of that season, what is it that you have learned?
Right.
But also, you said it previously, that if you are in a specific season, find a reason of why you are in that season. And I think at that time, you said it so powerfully that you made an example of a potter, right? That when a potter, uses clay to make a pot and it doesn't come out the shape they want, they will destroy it and start
destroy it.
again,
Yeah.
And we get stuck in those moments
process.
and we find ourselves not moving, because now we haven't found who we are. We haven't found the reason why we are there. But that happens, linking to what you're saying, if we stop.
Yeah.
We take time out and stop and really take stock of what has been happening, what's happening. And then you say, where am I going?
Allow yourself to
Right.
be molded.
Right?
Yeah. Allow yourself to be shaped.
Yeah.
So that you come out differently.
And the big question to ask is why? Why am I here?
Yeah.
Why do I want to do the things that I do? Why do I want to take a certain path? Because I think these are things that helps us to align with our purpose more than anything, because we can be carried away by anything that happens around the world, around us. We have work, we have families, we have friends, we have members of society where we are either church members or Stockfile members or something, and there's so much that is happening. Also, social media has taken over. That is another thing that can take us and put us somewhere. Right? But thank you so much for sharing that. I love it. So today, I'd like us to talk about few things. Related in some way not so related. But one of the things that really stood out was how diverse we are in the community. And I think this has brought also so much confusion, not to us as the community on our own, but to the entire society as well. Where we've heard that things like, are the letters ever going to end? Because they seem to be added every time. They seem to be added every time. They seem to be added every time. And it then begs a question to say, are we going to get to a point where we fully understand how diverse we are as a community and how deep that is for us as a community? And saying that the trans-lesbian pronoun identification came out, and I think recently we've been talking a lot about it, right? And it brings a lot of confusion, not only to the community, as I said, but to society, because what it actually means, and I don't want to get it wrong, so I want to read it so everybody gets to understand it. So a trans lesbian refers to a person who identifies as both transgender and lesbian. So this means they are trans women who is attracted to women. According to Wiktionary, so the term encompasses individuals whose gender identity is female, but who were assigned male at birth and who are attracted to other women, right? So now somebody would say, but if you're going to transition from being a man to be a woman and you're still attracted to women, why didn't you just stay the same, right? True. That's the question that comes forth a lot, right? I don't know what are your thoughts about it in terms of, are you aware of any trans lesbian? And when you learned about trans lesbian, what did it bring to your mind?
Right. So for me, like you just mentioned,
I need a drink.
I was a bit confused at first,
Yeah.
to be quite honest.
Yeah.
I also didn't know where to actually, honestly, I actually didn't know how to feel. I was a bit confused. But the more I actually did more research about it and actually had more conversations about it, you get to also understand that everybody identifies differently.
Yeah.
Everybody gets to feel differently, and everybody gets the platform to express who they are freely,
Yeah.
openly. We're living in a diverse society right now.
Mm.
And I also come to terms with the fact that, yes, we accept people for who they are. And I think we just need to embrace it
Yeah.
and embrace the culture, if I may put it that way. And that's what it was for me. I was at first very confused.
I think starting with the letters as to, is it ever gonna end? At some point, I also got a bit frustrated.
Yeah.
That we keep on having
Adding.
more and more and more and more letters, and which then means we have to find ways to educate each other also about the other letters.
Yeah.
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 And why I got so frustrated at some point was that it seems as if also we are a community that tends to want to explain ourselves a lot.
100%.
Hence now we are faced with so many questions. Why this? Why that? Why this? Why that? Why can't we just live and not be explaining also to
the time.
people all the time?
But isn't that necessary for education purposes? Because we amongst ourselves as a society, it's easier to understand each other versus straight members of the society who are, even to this day, they're still struggling to understand as a gay person, as a lesbian person, without even talking about a trans person.
True.
That's why I'm saying it will never end. Education will never end.
Yeah.
But we really have to always be explaining and explaining for educational purposes. Education will never stop. We need to learn about each other, and we are diverse, not only as the community. I'm taking it as South Africa as a whole. There's black, there's white.
Yes.
We are still learning even
Each other.
today.
True.
Even after democracy, we are still learning. 30 years down the line, we're still at a point where we are still learning. So the learning part of it, the education part of it, will never stop. I at some point got very confused as well as, but you have transitioned. Fortunate enough, having been in an activism space, you tend to you get to meet a lot of individuals as well who at first hand also are able to explain to you or educate you better. Because I'm gay, I'll be able to educate another person better because I'm gay.
Yeah, right.
Another lesbian person will be able to educate better because they're lesbian. A trans-lesbian also would be able to better educate us. But my understanding was, when I got the explanation, was there's a huge difference between gender identity and sexuality. So now when we're getting confused, we're actually getting confused on the sexuality part of it.
Yeah.
So now the gender is what you are, and then the sexuality is who you're attracted to. You could be male, but now that does not necessarily mean you'll be attracted to females.
Yeah.
So this is where we need to differentiate. So when I got educated, the person says, no, I literally transitioned to be a woman, but I am attracted to
a
woman. I'm like, oh, okay.
But is it butch women or feminine women, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's the attraction. That's why you'd find also with us, you'd still find straight looking guys together. And you still find two feminine men together.
True. Yeah.
You still find two feminine women together. So it's really, it does not matter whether the person is butch or masculine or not.
Yeah.
It's the attraction. You're attracted to that person romantically, sexually, and otherwise.
Well,
You know?
and I love it when you put it to differentiating between sexuality and gender, because that's where the crux is.
Yes.
Really, right? And at the same time, though, one could say, are they not pansexual?
One would have thought.
I wish, and thank you for such a platform. I think this will also spark conversation with people who are watching this interview as to where do we then also place it. I don't want to say it label, because in our community you say label, activists will kill you. Don't label us, don't put us in a box. But one would say that, right? And a person who is not in our community would want to say, aren't you then not pansexual also? Aren't you bisexual? Because of the gender, not the sexuality, the gender of the person, So I don't know. But I think we are sparking a conversation.
I think so too. Because in the process, we're actually also educating ourselves. Because right now, I'm also being educated.
Yeah.
I also needed to hear more about it. Because to be quite honest, I didn't know where I was.
Yeah.
With that whole scenario.
Yeah.
But also getting to hear from where Cidi's point of view is, it actually broadens my mind a bit more.
Yeah.
And I think, you're right. It's sparking a conversation, I think.
Let's hear what
everyone.
And really,
you know?
it is an important conversation
Right.
that we need to have, because we have to understand each other from different point of views, because a trans-lesbian, they are trans-lesbian because that's who they are.
Right.
It's like when a person would say, how can you be gay? Like you can't describe that. That's who you are.
Right.
Right? You can't describe it. And also I think sometimes we like complicating things, right? We just need to seek understanding and let it be.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
Yeah.
Because a trans-lesbian would actually fall under letter trans because they're trans.
True.
It's only that they're not a trans woman or trans man, they're trans-lesbian. But they're part of the trans community, they're part of the LGBTQI plus community, like all of us. So it's just a matter of understanding that they exist and getting to know them better.
Yeah.
So we don't find ourselves saying the wrong things or acting in the wrong way, because they're part of the community.
True.
100%.
Yeah.
True.
And I would also like to plea to people who are trans-lesbian. We're talking about people who are pansexual.
Yeah.
For them to also understand that certain things are new. Not really new, but let me not say new, but we did not know of, right?
Yeah.
So when now people are then questioned or asked, even by people in our community, can they not get frustrated? Can they educate?
100%.
See it as an opportunity actually to educate.
educate
Say,
us.
okay, can we have a conversation? Can we have a meaningful conversation about this? Then you educate me so that from that point onwards, moving forward, I'm a better person. I'm
100%.
informed. I'm able to even go to others and say, listen, this is not how it is. This is how it is.
Yeah.
And the more we interact and educate each other, the better.
Yeah.
True.
Unlike you saying, figure it out. I cannot figure it out. I don't know.
Hence I'm asking, because I want to know, I want to learn. Right? Yeah.
It's the same with us, with me as well. I still find people who want to know, what does it mean to be gay? And I'm thinking, okay, if they're asking now, after so many years of so many information as well,
100%.
what about how more of a person that says I'm pansexual?
Yeah.
You understand? So we still have a long way
to
the way
go.
we need to
Yeah.
educate.
And you see also, for a person to be able to ask, it means they're comfortable with you. because it takes a lot to be able to discuss somebody's gender, right?
Or sexuality.
Or sexuality, right? Because then it's a matter of people think they're going to offend you. People think that maybe you're going to take it otherwise, right? So I love the plea because it's necessary that we actually, open ourselves to teaching. Sorry. So I think there are two things to that people are not open to teaching. One is it could be that the person themselves, they haven't really figured themselves out. Because remember, not everyone figured it out early. That I'm actually, right? They're still in the process of saying, maybe not, maybe. So now you come and ask me, and I don't know if I love the color red or black because I'm still, finding out, right? Yeah. But also the other side, it could be that because of how generally society has been treating some of us, people get triggered because then it's a matter of, are you asking because you honestly want to know, or you're asking because you have motives, right? And what are those motives? So then it makes you uncomfortable, right? So that could be the reasons why perhaps people are not open to that. But I love the fact that you're putting the plea out there, right? Which also brings us to that as a community, we also have to call each other out, because there's also an internalized homophobia happening a lot, right?
Can we drink?
Happening.
There's a lot.
There's a lot, right? But I want us to talk about
the Dreamstream studio in Randburg is a full-service studio on Bromfisher Drive. It's perfectly suited for podcast, music recordings, and general video recordings. Backed up by an experienced editing and production team means you can walk in, record, and walk out knowing that everything will get done as you require. Our mobile gear ensures we can cover your video and live streaming needs on location too. We got the cameras, the lights, and the action to make you and your brand shine. Contact us now, studio@dreamstream.co.za, and we'll make it happen. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
In my observation, I've seen that it happens a lot from older queer people to younger queer people.
Yeah.
Particularly because younger queer people are so free.
100%.
Last time we spoke about how they don't have a closet.
Yeah.
Because they just live their truth. They just go out there and do their thing and be their thing. But they seem to be, and if I'm wrong, I may be wrong, but from my observation, what I've seen is that older queer people will have that kind of internalized homophobia towards the younger ones.
I think that's also centered around not being able to experience what our youth are currently experiencing right now.
True.
Because from where I am, it's such a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah.
How they are embracing their femininity and embracing who they are.
And the masculinity as well.
Right, 100%.
Because you'll see a gay person who's masculine and you're like, are you?
Thank you. And you're like,
right?
Where was I?
Can I be younger?
Right. And I think that's where it all stems from, not being able to express the way our youth are currently expressing it. Also because a lot of the older generation, or I think some of them actually feel stuck. Some of them also might be thinking, well, it's too late to express my femininity now. Because everybody knows me as this masculine man. And deep down, there's this little girl.
Right.
That
Just wants to pop out.
Oh, girl, hinges and all.
That's one a bit of hair, that one's a bit of makeup, a bit of
Right.
a heel.
It needs
All of
a
it.
lot of it. a lot of it. It's true. You saw, you 100%. I actually had an experience of someone. We had a trans talk that other year, the previous year actually, where
it's the one that you organized.
Yes. So now I could tell that the older generation was a bit frustrated of how now the new generation is experiencing, and they're forgetting that the times have changed. Things that are available now were not then available then.
True,
You understand? And some would have wanted to have transitioned the way
Earlier.
now, earlier, the way the new generation now is
100%.
transitioning. You know, like you're saying, you look at them, you're like, oh, this is so beautiful,
Right?
And you also find that they are so free. And it to a certain extent, then I would see it personally, not talking for everybody. I would see it as some sort of resentment that I could have,
If only.
if only,
Yes.
and not only also with people who are trans, even with gay people. I'm going to talk about that personally, because you find that other gay people would frown at me being feminine. You know,
And being bold about
and
it.
being
There's a
bold
lot of
about
that,
it,
eh?
and being out there.
Yeah.
And then others who are masculine would not even want to associate because you are too feminine. You know,
And start calling you a
and
drag.
start calling me a drag.
Yeah.
Ooh, you too much. I even, you know,
Can't you tone down?
can't you,
Like really?
tone one
What?
down. Who said I
What
must
is
tone down?
that?
Switch off the bulb.
Well, if it's too bright, wear sunglasses.
That's it.
Because you having a challenge, wear sunglasses
Listen,
so you can be
listen.
comfortable.
I had an experience with somebody. You said we must not mention names. Because, wow, I want to mention names right now, but
It's not truth and tell.
it's not that
It's
platform.
called truth and drink or truth and what?
Truth and dare.
Yeah, truth and it's
This person, I remember, I was seeing this person, so we were dating. One day we decided to go out, and then as I was preparing myself to go out, he then says to me, "Are you going to wear makeup?" I'm like, "Yes."
Like,
And he says,
oh, dear.
"Okay, tone it down." You're laughing, Tholo.
Okay.
You know what I did? As he was talking, I was like, "Really? You think?" I put more. I'm like, "Are we ready to go?" Because I didn't understand.
Yes.
You know, do you want me now to not be myself? You know, and we find that a lot in our community, that even lesbians would say, you too butch. What is too butch? What is too feminine? Can we just let people to be themselves? You know, and not find it very difficult to even exist with each other.
Yeah.
I think that also comes back to, especially with your situation that you're in with the guy, it also comes back to self-acceptance. You've got to accept who you are and be able to step out boldly, confidently on your own. Because you can't be with somebody and want them to dim their lights or
Right,
wear less
right,
makeup or
right.
not put on a heel because you don't want to be visible. You know? So I think that was also because he didn't completely accept himself. So he had to actually box you.
How do you box this?
Right?
You can't be
Like,
boxing
girl.
this. You're not boxing anything. You're not
will
putting
never
it,
break.
because when you're boxing, it means you need to shelf it. Put it
100%.
somewhere else where it needs to sit and gather dust. I'm not gonna be sitting somewhere and gathering
No,
dust.
It
No.
can't
Never
be.
that.
It can't be. And when you say, you know, others, it's because they probably feel stuck because they feel that it's probably late. For me, I say it's never late to live your truth.
Never.
It's never late to be authentic of who you
100%.
are, right? And I'm saying this from experience, right? Because it took me a while. You know, also the funny thing about me is when I grew up, I was very, very out there.
Right.
I was very feminine. I was very, you know, in fact, I used to cross-dress a lot. I used to cross-dress until I think after high school, then things turned around, right? Then I started dimming the light because I wanted to fit in into the societal construct of how a man should look like, and also moving away from being, you know, discriminated against by certain groups, like at church, like at work, you know, because I really wanted to fit in, right? I find myself, having to live as per societal expectation. But as I grew older, I think I got to then realize that my happiness is being compromised because I love that lipstick. Why am I not wearing it?
Now you're living a miserable life.
Okay, before anything else, high heels.
Girl.
That's what triggered me. Because I will look at a good one and I'm like, girl, you're rocking it. I could do that.
True.
Right? So that sparked something in me to say, but it means you're not living your truth. You're not getting to who you are. Right? And I had to allow myself to say, wear makeup, wear heels, wear, even a dress. I remember one person said to me, hi Tholo, we don't want to see you dressing like these ones wearing a dress. I was like, never, I'll never wear a dress. And the day I wore a dress, I took a picture and said, you know what? We should never say never.
True.
Never.
Look at me. Look at me. And that's the day when I wore a ball gown because since from high school, my high school friends will tell you I was forever in love with a ball gown.
Well, you can rock a ball gown, girl.
And the
Looking
day
right?
House of Cairo brought it on, and I felt so okay, so happy inside this ball gown, right? So that's what I'm saying. It's never too late to actually come to the point of allowing yourself and embracing who you really are, right? So this week I also posted where I was at a red carpet and somebody saw that picture and they commented and they sent me this comment and I want to read it to you. I shared it with you. I want to read it with the viewers so they can hear that it's noticeable when you get to be yourself.
Yeah.
It's not only that you will definitely glow, you will love your life, you'll be a happier person.
Yes, you'll be at peace.
You'll be at peace, right?
True.
So this person says, you are enjoying your space and moment. It's filled with a fluffy and brilliant presence of femininity and sensuality. This is the moment to be true to oneself and you are true to you. Oh. And I thought,
Powerful.
He captured it so well. Yeah. And looking at the picture, how I was dressed, he captured it so well, And but for me, what I appreciated the most was the reassurance that I'm living my truth.
Yeah. Right.
You might not be okay with it, but it is mine.
And you
it
don't
is
have
my
to be
life.
okay.
True.
You don't have to be okay. It's not your life.
Exactly.
It's not your life.
So I think it doesn't matter at what age, at what point you are in life. Allow yourself to be. That's the biggest gift you can ever give yourself, right?
True.
And we have people like these ones, right, that will notice and acknowledge that you're okay. And this is a straight person, by the way. And there are many other straight people that are okay with who we are.
True.
And those are the people that become our allies, right?
Yeah.
And now I get triggered, friends, and I want us to talk about this. I get so annoyed.
Right.
I get so upset. I get so angry by some of our community members that will want or force straight people to date them or to be with them just because they are allies, because our allies are nice to us. They're there as our brothers and sisters. These are people that speak on our behalf when we are not in those rooms.
True.
So just because they're nice to you, you think, and we hear things like, a spaghetti can get soft. What the heck? This is a human being. That being supportive to you and understanding you for who you are and embracing you for who you are. Why do you have to turn them into what they're not?
Well, we tend to cross the line, and we need to address it. And that's why also we are never going to have people that would fully support us, because we tend to now divert and go to a different sphere. A younger me is also guilty of that, right? And and it's not an excuse. It's an experience that I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
I think also when you are for me, I was at a point where I just needed somebody.
Oh.
You need someone.
Yes,
girl.
And
was it winter?
it was not even winter, girl. Oh my word. It was not winter, but I just needed somebody, and there was this particular person who was always present, and somehow part of me was like, are you sure you're not? You know, because he was so free around me. He was able to even hold me as we were walking around. He was, he was not shy of me.
But sorry to stop you. You see right there, and this is what I always make an argument with, that when a straight person is that comfortable with you in public, it's because they know who they are.
100%.
They know they don't have to hide anything
Very true.
because they know who they are.
Very true.
But somebody that is hiding something, they will not want to be seen in
Very
public.
true.
They will not even want to say hello to you in public
Very
because they've got something to hide.
It took a sit down conversation, for me to actually then snap out of it, if I were to put it like that, because I was dululu. I was literally thinking, wowza. I don't have to go far looking for a person.
Here's my soulmate.
Here's my, just here, And we had to sit down. And I think what was so beautiful about that, I had to ask. And I had to share. And I said, please, let this not ruin what we have.
Yeah.
But this is how I am feeling right now. He was like, Tshediso, don't even think about it.
Come back.
Yeah.
Here's reality.
Reality check. Slap right there in my face. But then I understood where he was coming from. And I think also when we need to understand that we do have allies. And this is where part of the education then came in for me. Because I thought, the younger me thought anybody that is friendly to me would definitely be, And also, then somebody then at a later stage then argued that how do you then also differentiate between an ally and a bisexual person?
Right.
Because at times also they're not.
You know how I do that? And for me, this is the universal approach. I would treat any person as straight until they say anything or do otherwise.
Right.
Then I can think otherwise.
Right.
But you come to me, I see you as a straight person. That's basically how. And this has got me into situations where people next to me will say, why are you not responding to a poor person? I'm like, what are you talking about? You're like, this person is interested. Can't you see they've been doing 1, 2, 3? I'm like, oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
Because in that way, you can't just assume.
True.
Because guys, there are gentlemen out there.
100%.
There are people that are raised well. There are people that are well-mannered. And when they see you, look how stunning you are. They see you and they realize that I have to treat you in a certain way.
Right.
Because you are this stunning.
Right.
So that is not necessarily saying they're interested in you romantically. They're just being nice.
You're right. Sometimes we actually misinterpret.
Yeah.
And I also think, though some of us misinterpret it, we're also longing for that masculinity and that approach.
And that is that
from
pure.
that kind of a man, So I think I've also been there. I won't say how many times.
My soul.
Girl.
But I've also had a similar experience. But like you were saying, you're right. It actually can't be forced on him.
No.
No. It has to be organic.
Right.
It must be something, a mutual. But yeah, I think a lot of us misinterpret it. Misinterpret the openness. Because some of us, yes, we do want it. The masculinity, we long for, desire the relationship, the attention, and
also the protection. Hey?
Yes,
Also the protection
that it comes with.
And I'm saying the protection because so my first profession, I was a paramedic, but in the training part of it, so we did the theory and then you'll have the practical part of it. So in the practical part of it, there was a gentleman who, he was literally my work husband, right?
In your head.
In
every
setup.
sense.
Okay, I was just giving you context. Let me go further.
Okay.
So this gentleman would actually, he was literally taking care of me. If it's time to eat, if they've gone out, he'll bring me food. In the morning, if we had a morning shift, he'll bring me coffee. He'll call and check up on me and all of. When we are sitting and we don't have anything to do, we'll probably be sitting next to each other on the couch. He'll be, holding me. I'll be, laying on his chest, something of that sort. But we were so comfortable with each other that you could easily say that we are seeing each other, we are dating, right? But at the same time, it felt like you're having a brother that you never had, right?
The Dream Stream studio in Randburg is a full-service studio on Bromfisher Drive. It's perfectly suited for podcast, music recordings, and general video recordings. Backed up by an experienced editing and production team means you can walk in, record, and walk out knowing that everything will get done as you require. Our mobile gear ensures we can cover your video and live streaming needs on location too. We got the cameras, the lights, and the action to make you and your brand shine. Contact us now, studio@dreamstream.co.za, and we'll make it happen. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
But as you rightfully say, you can easily look at it from the romantic perspective. But also what was lovely was how he would protect me from people that would say nonsensical things towards me or about me. Or if we've gone out, maybe on a call. And you know how sometimes people are drunk, sometimes people are whatever. You get to a call and maybe it's a guy that needs to be attended to and they look at you like, you can't touch me. And they'll be asking them that this is a health professional. What's the problem? Why are you uncomfortable that they touch you? Or I can't help you alone. There's the two of us. You need to allow this to happen. So the protection that I was getting from him also said so much. And yes, rightfully, you can easily get into there. But it's very important to establish between the two.
We have to.
And say, okay.
We have to. Because we need...
Which is which, what is what.
We need people that's going to protect us, like you're saying. People who are going to also be standing up for us in our absentia.
100%.
And these people could also be our brothers. These people could also be our sisters. Our parents, our colleagues who then become our allies, but that we must not then, cross the line.
The lines,
which we need to know. I love the approach of treat everybody straight until
Otherwise.
True.
Yeah. Either they say or do something otherwise, then it's different. Because also, another point. Also, you have. Guys that will prefer to have you after hours. That they'd rather not, it should not be known nor be seen by anyone. But you are their world, or rather their world, after 9.
Behind closed doors.
Behind closed doors.
You're the madam.
Yes. And to some, we've seen even in movies where if they're seen with you, they'll go to an extent of beating you up because they want to give the public the impression that you're probably the one forcing yourself to them.
Yeah.
Or for some, it will be a matter of that they will completely cut you off because so-and-so saw you or so-and-so knows, those kind of things. And some, they will do stuff with you at night. During the day when you pass, they mock you with their friends or whoever they're around with, like nothing is happening. That the previous night they're telling you how much they love you.
Thank you.
And actually, actually exercising how much they love you.
Sure.
True.
It's a sad reality. It's really a sad reality, and I think we as queer people need to be very careful of what we do, how we also, who do we bring into our spaces? Do you really want to be that person that is seen after certain hours? why are we also allowing ourselves to be in that situation? And it's also said for the other person also, because then it means they're not living their true self. It can't be that you are straight, then still attracted to another man, or another woman. And you also find women
that
who
are
does
after
that,
nines.
who are after nines.
And many times you're right, because many times we talk about it from
After nine for
a
the
guy's
male,
perspective,
yes, male,
but there are also women that are after nines.
you know. And I feel that then that person also is not living their true self, because it's impossible. A straight person would never
They wouldn't.
No.
sexually be attracted
No.
to another one, you know, or the same sex for that matter.
Yeah.
True.
But we are also not here to bash them, but you know, for them to realize that they're actually then contributing to so many things that could not actually be good in our community.
True.
You know, because one, it's easy to fall for that after nine guy, and the way they are now, with the experiences of other people. I also had an experience, but when we talk to other people, say, I even went as far, I bought him this, I bought him that, the baby mama that, the child it was the child's birthday, you know, and we're like, so now when I, as the queer one, I literally investing.
It's 100%.
Definitely.
I think you also need to understand your worth.
You better.
Got to understand your worth. And if you're actually willing to put yourself through such an emotional roller coaster, yes, the thought of it is exciting. He's straight. This is how he makes me feel. I also feel some guys, after nines, are also more attracted to the femininity
True.
Yeah.
of
A guy.
the queer. Yes. And that is what they actually want to explore more. They
But if
also want
that's
to.
the case, would it not be fair when a person, okay, probably, yeah, would it not be fair if a person would just tell you the truth, like, I'm attracted to femininity and this is who I am, this is what I want from you, rather than taking you,
On that roller coaster
right?
of emotions
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also having you to be emotionally invested.
And now you get to a point of now
financially
being
invested.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I think
But
if he has the balls, if I may put it that way, or the approach to actually say, yes, this is what I want. It must be a mutual agreement. There must be a meeting of the minds. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
We can
Right.
hit it off.
Mario,
you know?
Mario mentioned something, which is, you know, you said the excitement part of it is the one that, you know, then it goes back to what we were talking about, our allies, you know, because now the excitement would be, I'm able to turn on a straight person.
Right.
I'm able to have a straight person
Right.
attracted to me. And also, now we go with a narrative that every second person
Is like
Is
that.
like
is
that.
like that,
Which is not
which
actually
is
the
not
case.
actually the case, you know. So that's where we need to then to be able to really know our worth, differentiate, and
Because
say,
also, others, it's just them being curious
Yeah.
and wanting an experience. Not that they really, really want to be in a relationship.
No,
It's only
true.
that they're curious.
They
They
want
want
the
an experience.
what
But
experience? Why are we allowing them to even experience with us?
But also remember, they can come to you when you are at a certain point in your life where perhaps you are vulnerable, that you seek some attention, you seek some affection,
Validation.
you seek validation, right? And now they come in that approach that meets what you're seeking. And you find yourself in it. And now when you find yourself in it, you get caught, because now this person is not mature enough to say, hey, Mario, you look so nice, and really I'd like to have this experience with you. So when you make that decision, you know very well that it's only 4. I can't expect more than.
Yeah. For the moment, actually.
Imagine, would you agree if somebody were to come to you and blatantly say,
Well, I had a gentleman who did that. He met me at a petrol station, right? And he asked me to assist him. I assisted him, and before I left, he then says to me, "Can you please hug me?" I'm like, "But why do I have to hug you? You asked for assistance, I've done that." So he's like, "No, I'm really relieved that you helped me because I was really, desperate for this help." Then I hug him. When I hug him, and then he says to me, "I desire you.
Sure.
Can we?" And I'm talking about a very straight person that even when you look at him, even how he speaks, and, we've got straight acting,
People,
gay
true.
people,
Yeah.
but that was a straight man, right? And he said that. And I respected him for telling me the truth. Because as much as I turned him down, but if I had decided to say yes, at least I would have known
What you're getting
from
yourself
the
into.
onset that there's nothing to look forward to beyond this because this person has asked me this.
My argument is that how many experiences are they going to have? Because if it's an experiment or it's an experience that you're looking for, you would do it with most probably one person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
now the reality is then it's not only one
I
person.
think
then it continues to another person. You meet another feminine person that you feel like, oh, this one I can, Then it then turns this
into
whole
a
thing.
fetish, actually.
It's not even a fetish. Then you're bisexual. Can we just keep it at that?
But not all of them, because I
Aye.
once had a conversation with one, right? And because we spoke about really deep stuff, he then got to be comfortable to get to that point, right? And he was telling me that he once explored, and he was telling me about his experience, and he said for him it was really the curiosity to know, and he met this person who he felt that this is the person I can explore with, right? But he also admitted that he was wrong because the approach raised the expectation, and the person wanted more, and for him it was just to explore, nothing more, But then, yes, we still have the after nines that really wants to be in a relationship with you, but after 9. Then you still have guys that wants to be with you because they want your money.
That's true.
And it's a
Bro.
person, but they say we've got money. Do we have money?
Well, we look like we've got money.
You look money. You look money.
But it's my money.
Thank you.
It's my money.
money.
No, it's my money. Can we get that straight? It's my money.
True.
Don't come to me.
No, but you know what's the challenge, right? My observation is, I may be wrong, but this is my observation. The older queer generation, because at the time they were not as free as now, some of their ways to get someone to be with them was funding their lifestyle.
100%.
Right? That's the first part. But the second part is, even now, you have queer people that are well established. And if they like a guy, they use the power of money to get. I mean, we know even celebrities that does that.
True.
We know you.
We know you guys. We know. We can name and shame. It's not right. That does that, right? So now, that's what will create the perception in the society that you can actually, right?
Yes.
I mean, I've had offers of guys that says, just pay me anything.
Imagine.
Thank you.
One said to me, I'll even act as your bodyguard.
Imagine.
So, because then it will not show, particularly in my case,
Right.
given spaces that I get to. He was quickly to figure it out that, no, I can act as your bodyguard.
Sure.
I'll drive you and act as your bodyguard, but you pay me, but actually for meeting your needs and your desires.
Wow. Even know my
I
needs
said,
and my
okay.
really?
All right.
Really? But we need to get to a point where we don't find ourselves in such situations where we now have to be buying people.
Yeah.
Where now we have to be finding ourselves having to compromise ourselves because we want to be
Self-respect.
and you lose that. You lose yourself because now, during the day, he is with the wife or the girlfriend or whomever, and then when now you are left out there in the cold.
Till 9 o'clock.
Till 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock now, we must also be able to say, are you available? Are you okay? Now you must prepare yourself for this person that's coming. Is it really worth it? Personally, for me, no.
No.
For other people, maybe it works, but then
How did you manage it though? The afternoon situation.
With the after night situation.
That smile.
I know all of us have gone through it.
That smile says it all.
You know, experiences teaches us a lot.
They do.
You know, I got sick of it. I really got sick of, you know, I don't even have a picture with you. Like, what is that?
Not even a hand.
Like,
or your
okay,
shadow.
yeah, or something.
A shadow.
Something.
I got tired.
Yeah.
I got sick of it, and it was not working. And I always knew that even if push comes to shove, the person will always choose
100%.
the other side.
100%.
That's why
100%.
early in my life I decided not to date a bisexual person.
Yeah.
Because I knew that you're going to be so
always be second
invested
place.
in this person, but the simplest thing or the easier thing to do for them it would be to marry a woman,
100%.
and they will leave you like that.
True. So I had to make a decision and really say, what is it that I want? Definitely not this. Definitely not this. You know,
Your
and
worth.
it took a lot of me to actually get to that point and say,
It's enough.
actually, it's enough. And then I started literally avoiding the person. You know, the person now, because they've got a need to be with you at a certain time and you are no longer available.
It's like you're playing hard to get.
And he kept on saying that, why are you being so difficult?
Yeah.
I'm like, child, I'm not being difficult. I just don't want this anymore. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
And he kept on pestering and saying, but, you know, like, can we? I'm like, no. What? Now you're the one. You know, it was vice versa because now I was always the one
Initiating.
longing and
yeah.
wanting his attention.
Right.
Then it would be given at a certain time because we agreed most on a certain time.
Yeah.
Now that I don't want anymore, he's all of a sudden available. He's calling me at any given time. I'm like, no, don't call me. We're done. Don't
Right.
want that, you know. And it's also, I would also like to plea to our queer brothers, just be yourself. True. Be able to be yourself. We need more people who are comfortable with themselves, so that we don't find ourselves doing those things.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a plea, gentle brothers, please make
Behave.
it easy for others. Be yourself and understand when you and also stop with the internal homophobia
Homophobia.
of I would not, if I want others to go as far as, if I wanted a woman, I would date a woman because you are feminine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Those things.
Look, if it's not your preference, it's not a preference, it's okay.
Leave it.
And that's why I say, once you realize that you have this hate towards another queer person, stop and think, why am I having this?
Right.
And deal with that.
Right.
True.
Right.
It's unnecessary.
How you dealt with yours?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I was actually in conversation with one. He was actually in the ministry.
Is it?
Yes. And
Yeah, but there are a lot of them in
yes.
church. Yeah.
And
Well, I've had proposals.
we've been-
and I know people of
Right.
that had proposals. I know of people that their lifestyles are maintained by someone who's even in high
girl,
government, who has
Yes.
businesses, anywhere in the social space.
true.
Yeah.
And we were in conversation for quite a few years. And we were back and forth. And then he started becoming possessive.
Hey.
And like, don't do this, don't do that, don't go here. And I started feeling like now I'm the wife.
Yeah, but you know why? Because when you are there, you can get someone who can embrace you at any time and they're going to lose you. So the best thing for them is they need to control you. So when they're not with you, you can't be with anyone else. And you can't even see the opportunity of being with someone who can embrace you at any time.
100%. And you put yourself in this position and now you actually start, at first you enjoy
Yeah.
okay, he loves me, you know. Yes, you know, there's a wife, there's kids and all of that. And how that ended, though. Oh, go. I think we were back and forth. And he used to always say to me, well, don't message me on WhatsApp, right? Because It
The
might
wife
just
could
pop
say.
up, blah, blah, blah. And there were times that we could communicate.
Okay.
And
So that would mean he's the one who has to initiate the conversation first.
if it's on WhatsApp,
Okay.
yes. But we were chatting via Messenger. And then the one day I get a message and it just seemed like it was strange. Not his normal day-to-day speak or the way he'd initiate a conversation. And I was like, who's this?
Yeah.
You know? So now I had to like just put on my bra and like, go, this ain't him.
It's different.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, do you need a makeover? She was like, I read your messages. I'm like, you know?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh no, I'm out.
I can't
I'm
stand
out.
for this.
I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah.
And then he obviously communicated with me telephonically. We chatted and was like, listen, stay where you are. I've been already through enough.
Yeah.
The emotions were there, everything. Not once did he ever ask me for anything because I was the one getting everything. He would buy me gifts. He would do what a normal gentleman would do. It's just that I feel at that point he was literally stuck. And some of them don't want to leave their families. Most of them won't either.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think they also just they loved the idea of, because whenever he was with me, he would always tell me, sure, the femininity.
Yeah.
And that's where I actually got that narrative from, is that they actually attracted to the femininity of a queer. Because he would always express how feminine I was and how he loved it when I was in heels and.
But the wife can do that.
Yeah,
but not like us.
It looks different on you.
Girl.
It looks different on you. Because we, as much as we are queer, as much as I'm gay, I'm still a man.
True.
So how things would, as much as they can look feminine to me, but they would look a bit different from a woman.
I hear
If you get what I mean,
I hear you.
right? So that it's that thing. It's that thing.
It is, I think. It's that je
You
ne
know,
sais quoi that we have.
Nancy.
I tell you, this interview is literally going to have people talking.
And unfortunately, we have to come to the end of it. And that's what happens when you're having a good time and great conversations. But I trust that they have triggered your thought about the topics that we have discussed today and that we keep the conversation going. Of course, you can leave your comments below and also subscribe. But don't be selfish. Share with others. Let us know that we have these wonderful conversations here. And really, more than anything, the intention is that we as a queer community, we build each other, we support each other, and also we cheer for each other. So until next month,
Right.
with my two friends,
Having another conversation. I think these
conversation.
conversations are literally going to have people talking. People are also going to know of our experiences.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes
Yeah.
people think we don't have experiences. Not that they're happening now, but
Yeah.
things that we've gone through.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm excited. I'm
Yeah.
very excited.
Thank you, Teddy. Mario, you're closing?
All I'd just like to say is, stay away from the after nines. But believe in yourself, your self-worth. Want more for yourself. Just set goals and, level up. Just level up, and they have to reach your standards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. They have to reach a standard. Until next time, stay blessed.